Queen Lavender Rose here for Lavender Rose, the Midnight Hour. Do you believe in fairy tales? Are there such a thing as happily ever after? Do knights upon bended knee come rescue their maidens from towers high above the sea? Perhaps. But here's a few fairy tales that, well, we'll see whether or not they had a happy ending. Let's see. Now this one we know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Was it based on fact? Well, let's see. The fairy tale is based on the tragic life of Marguerite von Waldeck, a 16th century Bavarian noblewoman. Marguerite grew up in Bad Wildungen, where her brother used small children to work his copper mine. Severely deformed because of the physical labor mining required, they were despairingly referred to as dwarfs. So now we know where you got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But now, the poison apple also is rooted in fact. An old man would offer tainted fruits to the workers and other children he believed stole from him. Naughty man. Marguerite's stepmother, despising her, sent the beauty to Brussels court to get rid of her. There, Prince Philippe II of Spain became her steamy lover. Wow, right? His father, though, the King of Spain, opposing the romance, dispatched Spanish agents to murder Marguerite. They surreptitiously poisoned her. So much for the happily ever after. And Philippe, hello, where were you, her prince who would come to rescue her? Where were you? Of course, in his defense, maybe he didn't know until it was too late. Now we know Rapunzel. Rapunzel in her long hair. Let's see, how much fact is there? Rapunzel draws upon an early Christian story. In the 3rd century AD, a prosperous pagan merchant living in Asia Minor so adored his beautiful daughter that he forbade her to have suitors. So I guess he didn't want any grandchildren. Accordingly, he locked her in a tower when he traveled. There is no mention of how hair became important, but she converted to Christianity, praying so loudly when the merchant left. Her devotions were echoed throughout the town. The merchant, informed of her actions, dragged her before the Roman proconsul, who insisted that the father behead her or forfeit his fortune if he should refuse. And obviously, he's not going to want to give up his fortune, sadly enough. I would for my children. The father decapitated her, but, I love this part. Well, I shouldn't, but I do a little bit, because it's justice. He got struck by lightning not too long after he did that. Oh, God. I'm not going to say God did that, but let's just say you get back what you give out. So, she became the martyr Saint Barbara, revered by the Eastern Orthodox Church. And the next story is down here, Cinderella. Yes, even Cinderella is based on some facts. That blonde, fair complexion, but mistreated beauty does loosely relate to the history of Rhodopis, a Greek woman whose name means rosy cheeked. When she was a young girl, she was captured in Thrace, sold into slavery around 500 BC, and taken to Egypt. Her unusual looks made her a treasured commodity, and her master showered her with gifts, including a pair of golden shoes. So we got where the slippers all that came from. These shoes and Rhodopus were mentioned by the pharaoh, Thutmose II. He insisted she become one of his wives. Insisted. So, while not his principal, revered partner, born of royal blood, she would still perform ceremonial functions and mainly be readily available to gratify Thutmose sexually. Now, did her newfound status offer her perpetual happiness? Probably not. And then we get to another fairy tale that is based on fact. Beauty and the Beast. Have you heard that story? This one is a little bit happier. Well, let's see. This happened in the 1500s. A man named Petrus Gonsalves was born in Tenerife, Spain, with a rare genetic condition called hypertrichosis, or werewolf syndrome. At a young age, he was sent in an iron cage as a gift to Henry II of France, and was seen as a mythical wild man. Henry II, however, discovered that Petrus Gonsalves had a quiet and calm nature, and decided that he would transform him into a true gentleman. In the royal court, Gonsalves learned how to speak, read, and write in 3 languages, and his social station rose significantly. After the death of Henry II of France, his widow, the famous Catherine de' Medici, found Gonsalves a wife, and also named Catherine, the wife. The couple had 7 children together, and the 4 that were born with hypertrichosis were sent as gifts to other European courts, hopefully treated as well as their father was. Thus, the tale as old as time was born, and the famous love story of Beauty and the Beast was spread far and wide. So you see, that was just a little bit happier. Well, that is it for now, and I wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and over and out, and many happy fairy tales and happily ever afters to you.